I think they saved Heartbreak High with their final season. Season 2. Oh, you guys know my first video that I ever made talking about Heartbreak High, I was like, what the fuck was season 2? Fuck season 2. Like that that fucking evil bisexual plotline. Who fucking wrote that? Fire them. Who fucking wrote that? Awful. Terrible. So these are my first impressions, my thoughts and my feelings of season 3. And I guess a little bit of a sayonara, au revoir, see you next Tuesday, bye bye bitch. And final thoughts of Heartbreak High, what they did with the final season. Also, I fit this funky shirt again, and I feel like this is giving like a good Heartbreak High summer schoolies, maybe summer. What the fuck is the word? Summer semester vibe. So I've got my fit on. I'm ready for schoolies. School's at. So, number 1, as usual, music slaps. The music is always so good for Heartbreak High. I feel like music makes or breaks shows. So, fucking love shows that know their audience. I can't remember what it was, but like literally episode 1, I was like, yeah, yes, bitch. Amory wants to be like old/new Amory, who's preppy, legally blonde-esque, girly, and I was not vibing with that. Like, whoever Amory was trying to be for most of this season, I did not like her. This is the thing, that the show writes Anne-Marie very believably. She is very aggravating. She's very mean in like a super believable way. Comes up a lot. She was so mean to Harper later on in the season. And you're just like, damn, that was uncalled for. But you're just like, that is absolutely what a 17, 18-year-old girl would say. I believe that. So, yeah, I did not like who she was trying to make herself become, because she's like kind of a loser girl. I feel like she's very much the archetype of like Georgia Nicholson, who is kind of like the leader of her like friend group in a way, but like her friend group are losers. Her friends are losers. She's not cool, but she desperately wants to be cool. Like occasionally, like a cool boy wants to be with her, and that's fine. But like, just get over it. You're not cool. It's fine. I just have a note here that Ant said what we all think, which is Amory and Harper are gay as fuck. And I'm like, you can't hear my clapping. Thank you, Ant. Somebody fucking said it. I think people have been saying it for the past 2 seasons. So I'm glad somebody actually said it in show. Nothing gay happens between them this season, unfortunately, but that's fine. Like I feel like at least somebody has called out the gay vibe they have. Like they bestied so hard, they might as well get married, you know? The water fight scene that's also in the trailer that I watched. Also, I literally turned that into a reel or like a short for YouTube. Blocked. Blocked from reach. It was like, no, you don't. No one's seeing that. The funniest moment of that entire like video. No, you don't. But anyway, that like whole scene is even funnier when you watch it in full. I also just think like it must have been so funny to film, like being the actors there. It must have been so funny. And also now with the context of like the earlier parts of the scene leading into that, now you know, now you know, now you know that that's her, that's her fucking, that's her boyfriend and his mates, and you know, and like everyone knows who it is. Everyone knows who it is. But yeah, it just looks very funny. I think especially, yeah, I think did I point it out in my video, but like especially the moment with Spider, he's just like mid jumping. Like, yeah, all of those bits must be so fun to do because I don't know how they're filmed because I don't know if they're done in isolation, kind of edited together, or if they have to be kind of done in a sequence. Either way, they probably did them multiple times. Very funny. Also, continuing with this characterization of Sasha, who's, oh my god, whose name I just forgot in numerous videos. I'm so sorry, Sasha. I know your character has been assassinated through all of these seasons. You were almost a cool girl season 1, and everybody then just assassinated your character, and it continued this season. Literally from the very start of episode 1, where you couldn't even let people enjoy this water fight day because it was all about eco-friendly and cruelty-free soap products in the fucking water guns or what the fuck ever. There was a moment where the rich kids called Heartbreak High Povo High. I don't remember if they used that in other seasons. I feel like they must have done, but I just didn't like clock it. But I clocked it in this season and I found it so fucking funny because my secondary school had the same we had the same thing. We were also the Povo High between my school and like a close local school. However, the name that we had is technically a racial slur. So but it did make me laugh because in the spirit of aggressive teenagers and schools having like unnecessary rivalries for like literally no reason, been there. Because also like what was our rivalry about? Literally nothing. We were just like we didn't nothing. We didn't even do shit like that. I don't know anything about the sports that happened in the area. I don't even know if we competed in sports against each other. I literally have no idea. But yes, that idea of like having nasty nicknames for each other's schools was very relatable to me. And then the whole like Cash and like his job and his apprenticeship and stuff like that, and all the confirmation around that. Loved that. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Incredible. I love that. I forgot he was working at the whatever the fuck that little bar was. For some reason that whole establishment vanished from my brain. I do remember that like when I was watching season 3, I was like, "Oh yeah, like this place was a place." I can't remember though if I remember the place from season 2 or if I remember the place from the original Heartbreak High, because I did go and watch Heartbreak High, like the original show, I think in like 2020-ish. On that note, I am pretty disappointed that we didn't get any of the old cast return again. Like we had the lady at the fast food place disappeared after a while, never came back. We had obviously Darren's dad disappeared, never came back. And like he was kind of a good character too originally. We also just stopped seeing most people's parents in the show. Anne Marie's parents were kind of like a big thing. I mean, I know obviously there was a reason for Harper's parents to stop being included, at least particularly her, her dad. I can't remember what the reason was for her mum. We always get Nan. At least we always get a bit of Nan in there. We did at least still get a little bit of Malachi's mum, like in the hospital and stuff like that. We got a little bit of Missy's family because it was her birthday and stuff like that. So we got her brother and her mum and stuff. And then at the end with her soccer career thing. Obviously Spider's family didn't make a recurrence. We've had enough. We've had enough. Honestly. Ant's mum. Ant and his mum had like a thing this season. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we didn't really see Quinny's parents again. There was a new girl this season whose name Taz. Obviously, Taz is Woodsy's niece. We didn't really get much JoJo, I feel, this season. We kind of got her a bit later with the weird therapy session around the pool table. But otherwise, I don't feel like we got much of her. We got a little bit more of Sasha's family, as in being told that her family continue to neglect her. Like, yeah, I do feel really bad for her and her, like, about her family. Um, if only she communicated literally anything at any point to anybody. I don't know. We did have a reference to Rowan at one point that he is no longer in the psych ward. Go you, girl. Go you, girly. We got a quick dusty feature as usual. Quick little dusty feature. Why do I recognize this man outside of this show? Wait, no way. No way. No way. It's not him. No, it's not. Yes, it. So season two's weird incel like PE teacher man boss. Um, I watched this show called The Lincoln Lawyer with my mum. It's not very good. Like I enjoy it because I enjoy terrible crime shows. He, he's in that. I was just thinking, why do I recognize him now, but not from Heartbreak? That's why. That's why. I hate it when that happens. Carrying on. So, how did I get so distracted from my point about Cash and his confirmation about like working? Work, girl. Anyway, so yeah, Cash is doing. Oh yeah, because I got distracted about him doing his apprenticeship, but working at the bar at the weird like social club thing. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. So like I don't know what's going on with my shirt. Anyway. So yeah, he is doing an apprenticeship. He is actually working with somebody. You never see this person. I really fucking hate that lots of shows keep doing this at the moment. That they're always referencing somebody who doesn't exist. Just cast somebody. Just bring them in for like a quick sec, Like I just hate it because you're just always there like, okay, are we ever gonna see this person? Because then later in the show, he does his first tattoo on Malachi. And it's like, no fucking way would you be doing your first ever tattoo without supervision, even if it's on your mate. Bro, no way. But I'm pleased for him. Live, laugh, love, girly. And like, I realized, I think I was putting together the compilation video, or like I was putting together like shorts to promote the compilation video, that Cash has been doing like stick and poke tattoos literally since season 1. And I was like, oh my god, I love when they tie everything all together like that. So like everything just felt nicely tied up in a bow. They did exactly what I wanted them to do as well with like his fashion sense and style. They shaved off the fucking awful straight hair. So he's kind of got like the queer thing that everyone has got going on these days, the buzz cut, and like he has fun with it in this season. He does a lot of painting his hair, using glitter in his hair. He does makeup and stuff too. He's there in like crop tops and like cutesy little like still sportswear, but he's like Baby Spice sportswear. He's like Mel C sportswear. I was trying to think which Spice Girl was the sporty Spice. It's a Spice Girl. It's a Spice Girl sportswear. It's cute. It's not boys, boys, boys. It's not on the block. It's not on the estate. It's going to the club in my crop top and platform Nikes. Oh, the deer are out. Hey, dear. So they did all that. They did all the things I wanted. So, like, they didn't completely separate him from his identity, but they, like, naturally evolved his identity into, like, his next evolution, basically. They've merged Cash the Eshe for survival into Cash the bi-asexual. I love him. And like I said, I think in my reaction video that, tattooing is like a combo of like the gayest of gay shit, creativity, but also like scary as fuck, hard as fuck stuff, So like I feel like that is like the perfect combo career path for this. My boy! I love him. Oh, it's called the Bolo. My next note just says Bolo is back, and I'm like, what the fuck is Bolo? I don't know. It's the Bolo, okay? So yeah, Amory was already dating the guy who did all the water shit, and he seems fine for most of the season. And then he gets weird near the end, and you're kind of like, okay. But also, like, all the way through, red flag, why was that other weird guy your best friend? That was the red flag for the whole season. That's your best friend? Really? Really? Malachi. With lots of bubble and sparkle emojis next to it at the carnival. And Harper is working at the carnival because she's poor. Sasha rocks up and sees Quinny whilst everyone's kind of preparing to do this prank back at the posh school. And they kind of like tricked Sasha into not being there / around because Sasha is a buzzkill and like a loser and annoying. And she had come back to like get her brothers. Basically, big spoilers, she reads all of the text messages on Quinny's phone and sees the mental illness, sees the group chat that Amory fucking made. By the way, Amory, the bitch. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am not above making a group chat that's similar to this one, I'm sure. But it's basically a group chat that was just like not Sasha. And it's them planning this thing without Sasha and being really mean about Sasha in it. So something happened that set the ride off whilst they were trying to set up the prank. Malachi got really hurt and dislocated his shoulder whilst trying to get off the ride. That also led to the owner of the carnival's boyfriend getting knocked over by the ride that had been turned on, as everyone would be like run off, and he ended up in hospital in a coma and shit. Introducing Taz, also obsessed. Taz seems to be our only butch. Finally, the universe listened. The universe listened to me when I said there's no fucking butches in television. The universe listened to me. Taz, Butch. And I love her, even though she's a fucking asshole and such a dick. Taz has problems. Taz has problems at home. We find out later on Taz's mum died because she was really sick. Things have been rough, basically. So Taz has had a bit of a behavior problem. So Taz's dad was like, I can't deal with your shit. Fuck off. And sent her to live with her aunt, Woodsy. I know that's not her first name, but like, that's how I know and think of her as, is Woodsy. Initially, as I was watching the show, because of what I saw in the trailer, I was like, I thought Taz got with Quinny, but initially she's flirting with Sasha in detention. Like that's how they meet, because I think Sasha ends up in detention for some reason. I don't remember. I don't care. And then next episode, they're in the sensory room, which is what is being referred to in the trailer. In the trailer, two girls got caught mouth diving in the sensory room. Yeah, it was them. Bitch. That's what then leads to, well, to be fair, I think Taz does meet Quinny first, because Woodsy's like, Quinny, go and make Taz feel at home and show her around and shit, because you are the team captain, or whatever it is the Australians call their like head of house kind of vibe shit. I don't know, head girl vibes. It doesn't go very well. And Taz basically starts renting out the sensory room like a brothel. Not like a brothel. Absolutely a brothel. And yeah, so all of that leads to Taz's punishment being to regularly have to clean up the sensory room and stuff like that. And that leads to having to spend more time with Quinny. Everybody as well in general is reading this lesbian smut fiction. So this is something I've noticed as well at the moment with a lot of shows on TV at the moment. There's a lot of plot lines of just a secret writer writing something, whether it's gossip or some kind of smutty fiction, something like that. It's a popular trope at the moment. So I think they borrowed that from Bridgerton, but just turned it into smutty fan fiction. Missy and Spider, their relationship is not doing so hot. I'm heartbroken over this. I'm devastated. I mean, I knew a lot of this stuff was probably going to happen because, this is the final season and all the characters are heading off to university or work, apprenticeships abroad, things like that. We know a lot of them are probably breaking up if they're with somebody anyway, or they might end up with somebody surprising. Speaking of which, something that I was surprised about is that they just completely dropped the Harper and Ant thing of season 2. Like that wasn't really resolved, was it? Like, I felt like, sure, they kind of broke it off. And I know they left like a year gap between season 2 and 3, which I think was a bad idea, by the way. I feel like that's just left us with a lot of weird gaps in the narrative that just haven't been filled and have just kind of been left because they just couldn't be bothered to. They just couldn't be bothered with them. Just couldn't be bothered to fill the gaps, like that one, or like what everyone's been doing for that year. And like, I understand everyone's been busy, so I'm not really, I'm not blaming any of the actors for, being booked and busy, but I feel like they could have written 4 seasons. They could have written 4 years of school stuff. I just don't. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that they just kind of couldn't be bothered to write in there. And one of those things as well was actually how they pivoted Cash and Darren's relationship from closed to open. Like they talked about it, but we never saw that progress. So there's a lot of things that just happened. We're just being told about it. There's a lot of telling, not showing. Like we're not experiencing a lot of these things with them. And I feel like as well with this particular issue of like between Missy and Spider, for example, feels very sudden because they just got together in the viewers' minds. And I know they can go, oh, but it's been a year. And it's like, yeah, but we just watched them. They just got together. They just stopped being secret. How have they just gone from stop being secret and him stopped being in the weird incel group to then this and they don't want to be together? It's been like a year and a half or whatever. you know like it just the because they skipped that year and they are spending so much time trying to tell us, oh yeah, by the way that happened, oh yeah, by the way, it just doesn't really work for pacing. So whilst I do think a lot of the plot of season 3 works well, the pacing still struggles because they've just skipped a year. I think they would have kind of just been better off to write that year, film that year, and then do another, to film then the next year and then have all these things happening and save the teeny amount of time with these throwaway lines of, oh yeah, by the way. Those lines could either just be cut or just be changed a little bit for the rest of that like plot moment to make sense. Because this season Zoe is finally ready to sleep with her boyfriend, but last season she was still so gung-ho over never ever ever doing any of that stuff until marriage. So it's like, that's a pretty big switch, and we didn't really see any of that development besides like one argument happening. Like I just feel like that's sort of my main issue there. But yeah, so like Missy and Spider are not doing great. Someone points out what the velvet throne means, and that's it's a lesbian fic. And he realizes like, oh, Missy loves reading it, so he's now like fearing and panicking about like, oh, she wants women, or then he's like, oh, but what if she wants men more than me? And he's now having like a huge panic of all that. And what I think is really funny is then like another pop culture reference in here. Like I feel like one of the good things about this season too is that it is kind of referencing other pop culture moments going on, because then they play all the things she said while Spider starts like having a panic over Missy, whether she's interested in him or whether she wants girls instead of him. I also thought the idea of everyone dressing as Missy for her birthday was funny as fuck. Spider really going for it was funny as fuck and also really attractive. So, any future partners out there, you know what to do, bitch. You know what to do. Like that was genius. I loved that. And yeah, I think it's at the party where it's kind of discussed that Cash and Darren are open for Darren to hook up, but they have boundaries around it. And I do feel bad for Amory's boyfriend Noah when they're at Missy's birthday party, because Amory's just left him on his own. Like none of his friends are there. Nobody really knows or likes him. I also absolutely clocked. I knew. I knew it was going to be Quinny who was the fic writer, because She had that like cosplay book signing plot of, was that season one? I think it must have been season one. So again, lovely tie-in. I was like, because everyone thought it was the Puritan girl, which was a very funny idea. But yeah, I was sitting there thinking, it would make a lot of sense if it was Quinny, because then also the fact that she doesn't actually have experience with somebody too, and that's something that she has become kind of like anxious about with writing the piece. And then what I love so much too is that Taz and Quinny then start nerding out over that book series that they both love, obsessed with that moment, because Taz does not seem like the kind of person who would, one, nerd out about anything, but two, enjoy something that nerdy. But basically, we find out that Taz's mum liked those books and read those books to her and with her, so that's kind of like what the connection is. But also, yeah, we sort of see Taz let Quinny talk about these books just completely uninterrupted, which is very cute, very cute. And you kind of just see, I don't know, they were just, yeah, very adorable. You kind of just see like a genuine interest and connection building there, whereas like with Taz and Sasha, it's a little bit more of like a surface level kind of connection going on, but Sasha doesn't see or realize that. Eek. And then there's this secret party later on, and like literally the one thing I did not see happening. So as usual, I have to give like props to the people who do that. The one thing I did not see happening was Missy and Malachi snogging each other, even though they were clearly like stopping it and like kind of laughing off and being like, ew, disgusting. But like, why do you even think about why? Why? And then this was also the scene where Amory was just such a horrible, horrible person to Harper. Because yeah, this is the thing too. Like they cut off the like brewing weird relationship thing between Harper and Ant of season 2 for Harper to end up sort of dating the carnival people's son, who's like absolutely an adult and probably shouldn't be dating her. Even if she is 18, she's still too young for you, my guy. She's still too young for you, man. You are 26, with a record, my guy. Keep your hands to yourself. Disgusting. I don't know how old he is. I made that up, but like whilst I have no issue with that character specifically, and do actually feel really bad for him and how his plot ended up. Yeah, it just always seems like that they end up putting Harper with the most random fucking guys just to like be and cause the drama, but also to like try to give Amory some like ammo, like some kind of reason to be like mad at her or like distrusting of her. Look, you're always falling for the wrong guy. Why do you always trust these guys? It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? It's like, have you looked at your own track record, my guy? Shut the fuck up. You've dated the same guy several times. So like, yeah, I also feel really bad for Harper this season too, because Amory put a lot of pressure on her to lie to different people to protect her, really, because like she came up with the plans a lot of the time in this season. She was the reason a lot of this stuff was happening. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it just seemed really bad. Like, even if I don't know, she could like Harper could have ended up with like a decent boyfriend by the end of this season, which even if it was the Carney guy. But I do still think it's really weird that they were just like, oh yeah, well, I know we were like kind of maybe developing something between her and Ant, but hey, you know what? Fuck it, we can't be asked actually. Because also I love Ant. I love Ant. He's underrated. Underrated. Deserves love. My guy just wants to be a plumber. My guy knows where the money's at. The job involves some shit, like literally. literally some shit. He's willing to do it. It's a job that needs doing. You do you, brother. Also, the actor's hot, so I can't help it. Tall with dark hair and dark eyes. You know me. I'm weak. I'm weak. Apparently, he's 28 years old, but like, I feel like that can't be correct. Correct. He doesn't have his birth year in many places. So if anybody wants to tell me how old Brody Townsend is, let me know. If 28 is correct, because yeah, they also can't they can't decide his birth date either. One says June 23rd, 1997, and one says April 29th, 1996. Literally no idea. IMDb says the June one. So I don't know, mate. But yeah, I've looked at this before because I don't like to feel like a weirdo, you know. I know a lot of these actors are on the young side. Nan and Cash do an intervention for Darren because Darren has never received a piece of negative to neutral feedback on their drama performances in their life before, apparently. Sorry, babes. Welcome to the fucking world. Like, that was also like a really weird plot line. That was very weird and kind of completely unbelievable. What do you mean they've never received any kind of feedback before? They're in their final fucking year and about to give all of their final fucking performances and do auditions for like drama school and university. That's fucking ridiculous. What do you mean you've never told them, hey, maybe don't perform like a drag queen, basically? Like, I don't know what you mean. That was a bit mad. So the intervention was very funny because, for one, them in law is actually hysterical. I want somebody to call me a them in law. That's actually amazing. But then fucking tragedy strikes. Darude's fucking dead. Darude's fucking dead. And then they have a Viking funeral for fucking Darude. I can't believe the duck's dead. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think the duck was going to fucking die. And then Cash has just got all these fucking carrots for the duck. Just sitting around. What do you mean the duck's dead? Darude! Probably the most moving moment of the entire season. I was crying. I did really like. There were a few moments for Malachi and Amory stylistically that they did. So like there's a moment where I think it's Malachi tells Amory what the letter said, and it just all goes like silent, kind of like, you know, when you're about to pass out. Maybe you don't. When you're like blood's rushing in your ears. And it's sort of like a high pitched buzzing, beeping noise. Basically, we don't hear what this letter says. In a way, I kind of love that. We have no idea what this fucking letter says. And then later, when Amory says it's too late to Malachi, his hearing does the same thing. I really liked that. Like, mirroring. Very nice. I really enjoy some of those moments of like, yeah, I don't know what it was. They did that a few times with those two. Missy didn't go visit Spider in the dressing room after the performance because they're still not having a good time. And she's basically like, I'm going to dump him. So he's like pissed. He's like really pissed. However, he decides to take it out on Malachi because he sees his performance partners have someone come back and like congratulate them, and he's like, great, nobody loves me. Mood. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think if I were Missy, I'd have gone back there, because if you still want to be his mate or don't want to end on bad terms, I think I'd have gone back there and have been like, Well done. You know? But yeah, so there's this big fight at the end between Malachi and Spider with pool noodles. I don't know what I call them, but I don't call them pool noodles, but I can't think what they are. But that was fucking hysterical. Brilliant cinema. Brilliant physical comedy. And this is where Harper punches the posh twat as well. Also brilliant cinema. And then like, okay, this is more like ridiculousness, honestly. This is where Darren like then jumps from, they did the showcase and they went from over the top doing it to doing very, very minimal acting, and it was better, I guess. I don't know. They were doing fucking Humpty Dumpty. I don't know, guys. You know, like fuck me. I don't know. Like what the fuck was? I mean, I guess once I had to do like what the fuck was a skeleton in the dark house? Who are they? Funny Bones. I did have to perform as like Funny Bones once as an 18-year-old, so like I understand performing weird fucking shit, performing arts. Like I get it, my guy, but like Jesus, but like so Darren goes from I'm never doing acting again because I'm a piece of shit to actually I'm going to go to fucking drama school abroad. I'm going to New York because apparently I'm that good, I think. Girl, what? Girl, what do you say? What? What the fuck did you? Yeah, dropping out and just not doing any of it to now gonna go right away to move to America. Not even America, to New York City to go to drama school.
Also, are we still really saying that going to America is like the gold standard of anything right now? Really? Like, really? I don't care if there was like a logical like background reasoning for it of like, oh, I've got citizenship there. I don't give a fuck. It's really America right now. If I were you, girl, I'd stay home. I would stay right the fuck home. Anywhere else. Anywhere else right now. No, I'm ready right now.
A bit much. Like, I don't know, take a year out. Travel, work a little bit, save up some money, make a plan, decide where you're going to audition, plan it all out. Like, do some community theatre because fucking hell, clearly nobody's told you what you should or should not be fucking doing. Practice the kind of performance that this one person has told you should maybe probably be fucking doing instead, because you've missed all of the auditions for everything locally for drama school university in Australia, I guess. Why do you think you should just fuck off to New York City and like, yeah, that's a great idea. What? It's a great idea. Oh, and Cash will come with what? Cash will come with you. What? What about Nan? What about Nan? He has a record for one. America often don't let you go there. I know somebody who is not allowed over there because of a drunk driving record. So I'm not sure Cash can just fuck off over there with his record. But also, does Cash want to just fuck off over there when Nan's here and he is her like main carer? He's got an apprenticeship he's still working on. It's not going to be easy to just find a new apprenticeship, especially in New York City. It's already competitive finding apprenticeships, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be so much harder in New York City. Like, that's mad. This is ridiculous. Like, that's no. There's only so far that my suspension of disbelief goes, and like that was it. That was it. I really couldn't suspend my disbelief for that. Like that was too much. Why can't you wait a year? You've already like fucked the whole thing up. Just wait a year. You're literally a child. You can act at any age. It's just, yeah, some of it was just a bit daft, but obviously as well, a lot of it was still believable as like just something a ridiculous teenager would just do and say. But yeah, the plot and the story arc of this season, I generally think is better, more concise than last season. Makes more sense. Last season was just ridiculous with the psycho bird psycho guy. Like that was a lot. We come back to Sasha asking Taz on a date and like, what are they? And that's when Taz is like, sorry, like we're just like casual, right? Like I thought you understood that. Like we're just casual, and like she's upset because she likes Taz, and she gets like humiliated a lot this season. She gets humiliated by some university girls that she wants to be like, the hags, but also she does like a really ridiculous stunt where she like tries to free a hen, and it's like, they rescued that hen. And it just kind of shows like a lot of the things she does are just kind of virtue signaling. And like, that's like a really hot topic right now, and like a really hot issue where just like a lot of people just kind of like rage about things before really either thinking about it or understanding an issue fully or knowing the context of things. Because like they were looking at a university, they don't know this. They don't know the context of the stuff of this university. This university had animals there, and the hag group were like, yeah, we rescued that chicken, and like that group over there were looking after them for us whilst we were waiting for XYZ group to like come and pick her up or whatever. So like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Whilst also they were being very, very, very strict on their expectations of meeting your morals. So like they were being her, but like worse, but also like at least actually being true to their morals, whereas she was mostly just saying shit for shits and gigs, saying shit for social credit more than anything else, really. I don't know why this is so far down in my notes. Woodsy follows Malachi out after the fight he has with Spider, because Spider shouts like at him that no one wants him there, which is so sad. See the wellies in the corner now, which is so sad. Absolutely not correct at all, but it's awful and absolutely like a really horrible thing to say. And honestly, it's probably how Spider feels, which is really horrible because, you know, nobody came backstage for him, so he probably feels like nobody wants him there actually. Whilst actually, yeah, a lot of people are really frustrated with Malachi showing up as well, but also a lot of people are really excited to see him too. And a lot of people have actually changed how they feel about Spider, because Spider has changed who he is a lot, and he's really shown that he's a different person and can, you know, do better. I think they both have the same core wounds, you know. So yeah, Woodsy follows him out, and basically he just like admits that he's not felt the same and hasn't felt like himself since that like cop incident, which I think as well was a season 1 incident. Like I think this is probably one of the best parts of season 3, is that they really are tying in a lot of things from past seasons, mainly season 1 stuff. You know, they really like tying up stuff. Mostly they're tying up a lot of stuff from like mostly season 1, like big things that, you know, have had like core changes on these characters, have had big impacts on these characters. And then we catch Quinny and Taz kissing in the bathroom at a party, but then Sasha sees them, and is jealous, and then tells Quinny. Taz is actually the one who shared the lesbian fiction everywhere and told everybody it was Quinny, which lost Quinny her university scholarship as well. And like I think it comes up later. It does come up later. I can't remember who says it though, but it comes up later that, yeah, it's like, you know, you didn't say that to, you know, protect Quinny. You said that because you were jealous and you were hurt by seeing Taz and Quinny together, and you wanted Taz, and Taz didn't choose you. So you wanted to punish her. And there's this whole plot this season around Sasha punishing people. And I think if we go back and look at previous seasons and see what Sasha's actions have been in seasons like 1 and 2, we see, like, I can't remember, like, I haven't rewatched the seasons, but like, I think we would see that her actions, because she admits to it in season 3, but her actions are to punish rather than to protect or to fix things, rather than to heal, or anything else. Her actions are always intended to punish somebody. They're not intended to help. They're intended to punish somebody for what they've done to her. And I think, again, her character is a really great example of how a lot of people behave these days. People are much more wrapped up in how things look and how things feel to them versus what actually is happening. I saw a video that was talking about a really great study, and they did show the study on the screen.
Researchers studying social punishment designed a scenario where a group of people were being observed by the researchers' actual test subjects, and in that group, one person was set up to unfairly reject a stranger. And here's what they observed about the study subjects. Individuals who reported feeling upset with the rejecter were most likely to punish them, while feeling sorry for the victim was not predictive of punishment behavior. So that's the messy thing, isn't it? Because people don't punish because something is wrong. They punish because their own nervous systems are activated.
There's also a moment where, like, during all of the issues that Missy and Spider are having, they have kind of gone back to their, like, the way that they found their initial spark anyway, where they were kind of like fighting and competing, like enemies, rivals to lovers vibe. And they almost find their spark again. They almost have a moment where they like find that like sexual spark again, but then they don't. It goes away. It goes away really quickly. The mood changes, and there's no like conversation about why. It's just that it's gone, and like that frustrates me. And again, like I said, this is one of those plot points that didn't really get addressed and didn't really get the justice of, it lost a lot because it didn't have a season. It lost a year, and it didn't get justice done to it because a season, a year was lost. So it just fizzling out just kind of doesn't really make sense, doesn't really look right, doesn't feel right, because we just go from them really doing well together to that, and we don't really see any of the progress between the two, because if it is just a long fizzling out, that's something that you kind of need to be seeing a slow progress of, and it just doesn't happen because we don't have any of that happening in the background. We don't have Missy saying this to anyone. She doesn't fucking talk about it to anybody. She doesn't say anything to anyone. There's that whole weird plot line of her having a hall pass. He changed his mind because he doesn't have, like, nobody really talked to him properly about this hall pass, and he should have discussed boundaries and stuff like that first, which I think is fair enough, changing his mind about it, especially because boundaries weren't discussed and they're children. Like all of those things were like happening. It was just a lot. He was just like desperately trying to work it out, and she just wasn't fucking talking to anybody. She wasn't talking to him. She wasn't talking to any of her mates. Does she have any mates? I don't know. Nobody's talking. She wasn't talking to anybody. I think she kind of was maybe talking to Sasha, or was maybe going to talk to Sasha. Sasha was kind of trying to weed her way back into her bestie-ship with Missy, which I think Missy felt a weird vibe about that. A lot of it was all just off, and nobody was talking about anything. And then she was mad at Spider for talking about anything at all to anyone, which I think is really fucked. What do you mean? Is he not allowed to talk to anybody about anything? Sorry? And then everybody gets expelled. Third to last episode, at the end, everybody's expelled except like Cash. Cash in like the cheesy graduation dance something thing. I don't know. They have a cheesy graduation dance that they were all practicing. So like because he wasn't expelled, he was like one of like 5 people left doing it, which was so fucking funny. It was already funny when they were all doing it, but now it's really funny because there was just nobody there, and he's like one of the last people you'd expect to be doing this, and he's not even very good, and he's just forgetting half the fucking moves. He's just so funny. I love him. He's just happy to be there. He's happy he's not in trouble. He's happy he's not arrested. He's happy he's actually finally fucking graduated at 19, 20 years old. And then Taz pulls the fucking fire alarm because a lot of this shit is partly her fault as well. Feels bad. So she pulls the fire alarm so that the kids who, because they were at graduation, but they just weren't allowed to participate, so they all sat at the fucking back. Nan still wants to fucking celebrate, so she's like, make me that fucking deadly cocktail, bitch. And she still is like making everyone celebrate, even though most of them are miserable little fucking bitches. And this is when Jojo comes for the therapy session, and this is where Sasha was going to admit to her fucking crimes, but doesn't. I was sitting there thinking, this is a weird moment. For one, I was like, why is Sasha here? It's like, nobody likes Sasha. Why is Sasha here? Who invited Sasha? It feels like Sasha's admitting to some crimes. So I think that's when I was catching on to it possibly being Sasha. Because, like, yeah, that when it was like lining up to be Liam all along, and I was like, I don't think it is, bitch. But like they were all just like so convinced. And then when it was like lining up to possibly actually be Sasha, I was like, surely not. Because look at the fucking like height difference between Liam and Sasha. Surely you could see the height difference on the camera. Like, surely you can't just go, oh yeah, like that person in a mask and boiler suit that we know belongs to the carnival is definitely Liam, even though they're 5 foot nothing. Then again, this is the cops, so like one brain cell being passed between them, you know, like. Anyway, yeah, like even in my notes, I was like, it's a mask. Anyone could fucking grab and put the mask on. So like, what? I'm not buying it. Also, I was like, how did they have graduation before exams even happened? They haven't even had their exams yet, but they've had graduation. What the fuck, guys? Guys, my head hurts. Before schoolies, we find out Sasha's fucking brother has got the costume head for some reason. Well, isn't that convenient? Anyway, Puritan plotline is really real and heartbreaking. And I actually really love that being included, and I wish it had maybe been included a bit more in depth, maybe. But yeah, like it's a really sad plot line that basically the reason why she became a Puritan is because there was a guy that she was sleeping with. Like the reason she lost her virginity, she was sleeping with this guy. He hid her because he was embarrassed of her. So now she fears sleeping with people. That is really sad. That's a really horrible thing to go through. And no wonder why she's like that, you know? I get it. And I wish we could have explored that a little bit more rather than just, again, another thing that we've just been told rather than explored more. But there is this really nice part about it as well, that now she feels like she's ready to have sex with her long-term boyfriend. She still feels scared, obviously, as well. But she actually, funnily enough, because, this is Missy's cousin, funnily enough, she actually feels most comfortable talking about this with Spider. And, and I think we remember from season 1, Spider was kind of like that, technically The loser virgin from season 1, right? Like, he hadn't slept with anybody, had he, in season 1? If he had it, we didn't know about it. And Missy's there just like, why does my cousin why is my cousin coming to you? What the fuck? But like, I love that. I loved that. I love that very much. Yeah, like I said earlier, and finally stands up to his very religious Christian mother about what he wants in life. Obviously, I mean, I'm a little bit here and there about his alcohol and drug use. Like, live your life, my guy. Like, I don't necessarily think alcohol and drugs are bad per se, but like, bro, chill. Brother, chill. But if you want to be a plumber instead of a carpenter, then yeah, fucking go for it, mate. Which my problem is, just because Jesus was a fucking carpenter and not plumber, what of it? Slay queen. But yeah, so all along it was Sasha who did this. She did this. And yeah, I feel like it makes more sense. It makes more sense for Sasha to be like that. We've had 2 seasons prior to this season for it to develop, but then also this season for it to kind of like continue developing, continuing to make sense. We could have had a 3rd season, an extra season in there, but we haven't. Whereas like season 2 was just, here's a bisexual guy who, guess what, is crazy. And here we're going to tell you the backstory as to why he's crazy. And you're just going to have to believe me, bro. Whereas this was actually like, it's been slowly like building up through the seasons. It's something that makes more sense than just Bird Psycho, But she saw it on Quinny's phone and absolutely lost her fucking shit. We do ditch Noah, the boyfriend of Amory, at some point because he's a fucking arsehole when they're at schoolies. I can't remember what he says, but he says something really weird and fucked up, and you're just a bit like, oh, there it is. There's that red flag flying attached to that loser friend's head that actually is coming out of your arse. Yeah, he just says something really weird to her. I can't remember what it was. But also, he's like, I don't know, there's a bunch of things. He didn't trust her because Malachi turned up and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. And I was rooting for you, mate. Amory and Malachi get back together. I was a little bit, no, I wasn't really. In some ways, I was a little bit surprised because, like, the way the plotline was going, I was a bit like, well, maybe no. I think he might be sticking around, but Amory's going off on a road trip with her lesbian lover Harper. But no, they've decided that they're going to get back together. I think I saw it coming, really, because I think that was just fan service overall, right? I think that's what everybody really wanted. Generally, I didn't really want them to end up together because Amory's just been a really sucky person this season without enough of a bollocking. Really, I know she apologizes and shit, but sometimes she needs a bit more of like a hey, no, Amory, you suck. Cash stayed, thank God, but Darren still decided to go. I just think that was a bit of a daft choice, really. Quinny and Taz do end up like resolving things, which is nice. Like, I think Taz does regret what happened because, yeah, that was just like how Taz did things. And Taz didn't have like a support system that cared enough or was stable enough to give a shit, to do anything to support her in doing better and in facing consequences, So like, it's nice that will improve. But there's definitely a lot of things where a lot of people's futures are looking a bit different to what they were hoping them to be. I do like the fact that Amory was like, shit, actually, you know what? I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. I know I said all these things and I was girl bossing my way forwards, but actually, I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm just gonna I'm not gonna go to university actually. I want to come road tripping with you, bitch. Because, yeah, like, I think there's a lot of kids who either have planned to do one thing their whole life or, like, suddenly decide a plan last second. And then I'll just, like, actually, this is the worst decision I've ever made in my fucking life. Like, you just don't have to do it. You just really don't. I actually had no plans to go to university. Initially, I was going to go to drama school. I had mental illness and I was like, I'm not fucking going actually. I would rather fucking die than do another fucking 3 years of this fucking hell. 3 more years of being told I'm fat again and being told that I will only ever play mentally ill characters and witches or evil characters. Amazing. Thank you so fucking much. But then also being told conflicting things that I'm only allowed to fucking sing in really high pitched voices. I'm never allowed to sing in a resonance that makes fucking sense to me or the characters that you're forcing me to be in, and being forced to memorize lines I can't fucking remember to save my fucking life. I didn't know I had fucking ADHD yet. I think I'd rather fucking die. And then took 2 years out, went to uni for creative writing, went and got a bunch of fucking bullshit diagnosed with my body and my brain, started an art business, you know, got a YouTube channel, and sometimes work in research. You know, it is what it is. I don't mind. You know, occasionally I yearn for the stage on occasion, but not enough. Not enough. So, you know, like, the world goes round. You really don't need, especially these days, you don't need a degree. And if you need a degree, you can get a degree later. You know, there's options. You literally just don't have to do it in the one way that everyone tells you have to do it. Okay, it's really fine. I didn't have to go to uni, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go because I fancy it. Because I'm mentally ill. Like, there's something wrong with me. I went because I wanted to learn how to write better, and also I felt like the experience would be beneficial. It was, but also traumatized me. Anyway, those are my thoughts for this season. Yeah, mental illness. Whilst I feel like season 3 was a vast improvement on season 2, and I do think it is a good end to the show, I do really think that it was just like a missed opportunity to not have an extra season in there, especially as they are saying there was like a time jump. Because there's a lot of things that they're just like filling in and just telling us, or they're just not telling us. And people are just sort of like, what happened with that? You know, like, I actually kind of was rooting for Ant and Harper. You know, I actually really like those two characters. I think Ant is such like a little like himbo cutie pie, and I think he would have balanced out Harper's like angry traumainess. I feel like I am Harper, to be honest. Like, she's so angry and aggressive. You know, like, I feel like they would have evened each other out quite nicely. That she just wasn't in the right space for him in season 2. That maybe by the end of season 3 or whatever, I don't know. But maybe they could have possibly been in a good place for each other, or to consider dating. I don't know. So I'm just a bit sad about that, because like, I feel like Ant has been a neglected character overall. He's really been neglected, because what do we know about him? His mum is really religious. He wants to be a plumber, and he has nervous pooping problems. Like, I feel like that's it. He likes drugs, and he like, that's it. And whatever the fuck he did at the talent show thing. Like, that's all I know about this kid. Yay, butches. Yay for at least one butch. The gods have heard me. At least one butch has entered the building. Soft butch. I love her. I was very excited about her in a plot line. She was very cute. I love her. Her and Quinny were adorable. I love them. Anyway, let me know what you think of season 3. What were your favorite parts? What were your less favorite parts? What were things that you were kind of confused about or felt like were missing or had been kind of left out from previous seasons? And yeah, I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye.